Right, welcome back everyone. I hope you had a good summer break. We had quite an intense year last year with all the programming, and I thought I'd start with something a bit more relaxed to get us into the groove again. So we're going to have a look at some image editing. Now I'm guessing that quite a few of you will have done this with a variety of packages before. We're going to use Pixlr. It's got a similar sort of layout to Photoshop, but it's a bit simpler. I'm going to start from some fairly easy things, and then we'll build up to some slightly more complex techniques, and then we'll probably have a look at how we can prepare images for use online, that sort of stuff, fit them to make them the right size for banners and that sort of thing. So that's the plan. We'll see how it goes. What I'll probably do is try and record one of these every week. You can have a look at it, you can have a play with it. I'll ask you to do before and after images, so a photo that you've started with, you've edited, and you can send me the before and afters, and that'll be your proof of your week's work, if you like. So the site's called Pixlr.com, Pixlr.com. It's free to use. Looks like this, and when you get to here, you need to the two things here, the Pixlr Express and Pixlr-O-Matic, are for mobiles. We want this one, the editor, and we get this. You can choose a photo you've got already, or you can find one on the internet, whatever. Anyway, go and find one, and then it comes up and it looks a bit like this. So I've chosen a pretty rubbish photo that I took on my mobile phone when I was out sailing. If you've used any photo editing stuff before, you'll probably recognise some of this. It looks quite a lot like Photoshop, like a sort of simpler version of Photoshop. We're going to start off just with the very basic tools this lesson, and then we'll move on to stuff like layers and the like a bit later on. I'm going to start with this photo and try and make it a bit better than it is at the moment. There's loads of different tools to play with, so I'm going to show you a selection, but obviously you're welcome to go and play about with it yourself and find different things as well. So let's see if I can remember how this works. I think we're in edit, aren't we? So the first thing I'm going to do is I think it's that one, free transform. So edit free transform. That means you can manipulate your image in various ways, so you can shrink it and do all that sort of stuff with it. I don't really want to change I don't want to distort it particularly, but if you move it slightly off the corner, you can see it turns into a rotate symbol, because what we do need to do with this image is to straighten it up a bit, because it's a bit tilted at the moment. So I'll just tilt it round. Let's see, is that look about straight? I think so. So there we go. We straightened it out. Enter or escape to get out of the tool. That's all right, but now we've got these these distorted edges as well. It's turn the whole picture around. So I'm going to go to the crop tool, and that's going to allow me to crop. So let's see. I think I want. This is sort of where the interesting bits going on. Okay, let's have a quick play with that. So any people that are into photography, you've probably heard of the rule of thirds, that if you stick objects of interest at these lines, so the third of the way along, either horizontally or or vertically or both, it makes the photo more dramatic. So I'll put the horizon, the sea, on one of the lines. I'll put the boat at the intersection of two of the lines, so it should make it a bit more interesting. Let's see. Okay, so we've got that going on. Now I've got down here a bit of the wire on my boat, which I'd like to get rid of, because I just want it to be quite a clean image of this boat. So I'm going to go down here and find this one here, clone stamp tool. Now what that does, if I click on that, and come across, the first thing is you get this, this circle with a cross on it. That's the brush size, which I could change here if I wanted to make it bigger or smaller. That looks alright for what I want. The first thing you need to do is click on somewhere. Now what this is going to do is wherever you click, it will sample the pixels from there, and so here I want to get rid of this wire here, so I want to replace it with things that look pretty much like it. So I'm going to come over here to a similar looking bit of C, like that. Click. Oh, control click, sorry. So go over here, control click to define a source. So control click to define my source. And now if I go to my wire and I start clicking on it, you can see that it's covering, wherever I click, it's like doing a little copy of the initial thing that I chose. And you can see that what was a wire and a stanchion has been replaced by little copies of this this image here, and now it just looks like the sea. Because the textures are so close, you don't really notice that that's been used. Word of warning about that is that you've got to use similar textures. If I did it up here, it would look a bit rubbish. So I can undo that. Oh yes, Control Z. The other thing is you can use it like a brush, and we'll Control Z in a second. You can use it like a brush and brush things out. You can start. So first of all, you can see the sea textures aren't the same there, so you have to sometimes start again with your clone. If you go into the sky, obviously it looks rubbish. Also, you can see where it's sampling from, and if I just use it like a brush and start going, oh, it starts painting the mountain on again for me. So you've got to be a bit careful how you're using it. If you're going to use it, it's better, you can either use it as a stamp, or if you're going to use it as a brush, then just be careful you don't go into an area containing something you don't want, because it looks a bit weird having a mountain floating in the sky, or you know, you suddenly, well anyway, you have to play with it and you'll see what I mean. So let's get rid of all that, hopefully. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so we've got rid of our little bit of wire there. Straightened it up ish. Didn't do a very good job of that, never mind. So what else? Okay, you can probably notice that the boat here, it's a bit dark at the moment, and you lose it a bit in the picture, so we could do with lightening up a bit. So we'll go over here to the dodge tool, all tied in with the days when you used to work in the dark room. You could probably zoom in a bit to see a bit more clearly what you're doing. You can see what utterly rubbish quality this photo is, but never mind. So I'll come across. So I'm going to try and lighten the boat up. Now, at the moment the brush size is quite big for this, because we want to be a bit more precise. If you zoom in, then you want to be able to change the brush size a bit. So let's try that. 25, still quite big. Let's go down to 15 maybe. Yeah, okay. Well, if you take your time a bit more, I'll show you just to start with, and then you might be able to take your time and do it a bit better. So what the dodge tool does is it lightens up the image as you brush. So it works very nicely with and the with touchscreen stuff, or a pad, a graphic pad if you got it. It works really nicely with as well. Okay. Now you can see I'm doing a bit of a rough job here. I'm not really following the lines particularly well. If you zoom in and take your time with it, you'll get a much better end result. But just to give you an idea of what it does, you can also see that the more you rub over a point, the lighter it gets. So okay, so I could keep doing that for a while. I don't think I will too much. Okay, right. It's very crude, but let's zoom out again. Not far. Okay, that's a bit unrealistic, but if you take time with it, then you can line up certain areas, and you can see at least that the boat's standing out a bit more. Similarly, it might look a bit more dramatic if the hills were darker. So for that, you can use this burn tool, which is next to the dodge tool. Go onto it. Yes, and I won't even bother pretending to do any finesse here. I'll just drag it along the hill. You can probably hopefully see that the hill is getting darker, and it's similar to oh yeah, right, there we go. So the hill's getting dark again. Zoom in, choose a finer brush, make it look a bit prettier than I'm doing. So we can highlight things, we can darken them as well to make them stand out a bit more. Right, what are we up to next? Similarly, we can sharpen certain areas. So you might want to have, like here, we want to have the boat a bit more in focus than anywhere else. So I can use that, and again, it's like a brush. You can just drag it along and sharpen up the boat. And I could blur certain areas as well. Quite effective with action shots and things like that. You can sharpen up the central person and blur everything else, and it makes the central person, gives it a bit more prominence. Or sharpen up the eyes. That's quite an effective thing on a portrait, and just soften the edges of the rest of the features, and it just gives the eyes more prominence, for example. So that's that. All these you kind of play with. They're probably the best ones for what we want to do here. The other thing I was going to have a quick look at was filters. There's loads of different ones here, so I won't go through them all, but you can have a play and see what you get. What was it? I was thinking of possibly noise. Yeah. Okay. So. Okay. So you get. Well, I don't quite know what effect that is, but it's certainly quite fundamentally different to the picture we started off with. And if it was a rubbish picture before, it's still quite rubbish, but at least it's a bit more interesting now. And you can certainly play with all these different filters and see the sort of things that you get. Some are more effective than others. That almost turns it into a like watercolor effect. It's quite nice, a bit of an impressionist painting. And then you can change the degree of the setting that you've got. So look at that. That's quite like that actually. It's nice. Oh, fantastic! I put that on my wall. All right, let's leave it at that. So we've highlighted the boat. We've made the things darker. We've got rid of the tilt. We've taken something that was just quite a bland, poorly taken photo, and turned it into something relatively interesting that in some places you could pass off as a piece of work of art on a wall. So that's the sort of thing I'd like to play with this week. Just go through the basics of the program, upload an image, have a play with these different tools here, have a play with these things up here, get a feel for the program, and at the end of the week, I'd like to send me in a before and after shot. You've chosen an image, upload it, play about with it. If you want to send me a series of them, that's absolutely fine. 3 or 4, that's fine. And as usual, available. Actually, I'll be available to help some lunchtimes, but I've not got my timetable yet. So I'll let you know this week when you come and see me, if you want some help or advice, or you want to talk us through something. Okay, so enjoy that, and I'll post another video next week.